Hey, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members. This is a special edition of Wine Wednesday. We have our Ontario Sauvignon Blanc report tonight, and welcome everyone. Mira Boucher, how are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Facebook is a little glitchy at the moment, but hopefully we'll get them on with us very soon. How are you doing, Carl Boucher?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Getting ready. My palate is watering. I am super excited to taste these amazing Sauvignon Blanc from all over Ontario. So we're gonna get. I'm gonna let you here try to figure out the let's say the technical issue with Facebook, and we'll get going. In the meantime, I want to welcome everyone from all over the country, everyone in Ontario who are tuning in for that very special report today. We have a beautiful 16 different Sauvignon Blanc from all over Ontario. And I'm really excited to taste the difference of terroir, the different style of Sauvignon Blanc, different method. So yeah, and I have my sheet here. Mira is gonna post the live sheet that I'm gonna score the wines one by one while I go through the whole lineup. But yeah, 16 wines is pretty darn exciting. In the meantime, I think we have wines from Prince Edward County, obviously Niagara on the lake, Niagara Escarpment. But we were hoping, and we have on the road wines from Lake Erie North Shore, but didn't make it on time. We also have the wine from Norfolk County. So and yeah, so all over Ontario. So it's pretty exciting. Different style, different method. So I have here a bubble to start. We're gonna start here while I'm refreshing my palate and getting ready to go while we're figuring the all of the Facebook little glitch today. I have Creekside 2021 Sauvignon Blanc that I'm going to pour in my glass here. A nice little bubbly made from Sauvignon Blanc. Let's backtrack a little bit, okay? While I'm smelling, while I'm getting all in the zone here. So this idea came to fruition like maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago when I was talking with Ontario producer, and we're talking about different grape varietals and what's going on, what's doing very well right now, which grapes are trending, and we came across talking about Sauvignon Blanc a lot with multiple different producers, and I got quite surprised when Ontario producer were mentioning more and more that Sauvignon Blanc is getting traction. It's more and more popular. People are asking for more, and and Ontario growers were planting a little bit more Sauvignon Blanc. We see some great results. So it got me to the idea to do a little bit of a research and searching by taste and flavor profiles and by score. So I wanted to put together that little Ontario report, and we had a great response. So to me, like right first out of the gate, I'm just thinking like, what is the best terroir in Ontario to grow Sauvignon Blanc? Because Sauvignon Blanc has specific requirement in terms of growing. It's a pretty finicky type of grape to grow. It needs a very special climate, very special type of terroir. So we're going to discuss that a lot tonight because we have 4 special guests coming up. We're gonna talk with Ali Openlander. We're gonna talk with Andrea Kaiser. We're gonna talk with Jeff Moot. We're gonna talk also with Gabriel. With Fabian Rice at Fairrock. So all of these people are going to give us a little bit of their own experience with Sauvignon Blanc, what they're looking for, and all of that. So it's really exciting to talk with people who've been working with that grape for a long time or just getting started with Sauvignon Blanc, learning the grape typicity, learning the grape requirement to produce world-class wine. So with all that, it's going to be really interesting to see what our expert and winemaker and grape grower think about Sauvignon Blanc and the Ontario terroir. My opinion, at first, I'm just thinking maybe Niagara-on-the-Lake has a very specific terroir that might suit well Sauvignon Blanc. Because, okay, let's remind everyone, I'm based here in Summerland, BC. I'm across the country, visiting Ontario quite regularly, working with Ontario wine, like on the bi-weekly almost. And but Sauvignon Blanc is not the grape was the most let's say that, especially from Ontario, that I'm accoutrement to, like I'm used to find different sub-appellation, and so I'm learning at the same time here. So it's really, really exciting. So now, our people are starting to tune in here, so from all over the country. Un beau bonjour en français à tous nos gens francophones du pays, à tous les gens francophones du Québec, du nord de l'Ontario, des provinces de l'Atlantique. On vous souhaite un beau bonjour. Aujourd'hui, on est en ligne un petit peu plus de bonheur parce qu'on va parler de Sauvignon Blanc. On fait un rapport sur les Sauvignons Blancs de l'Ontario exclusivement. On va recevoir 4 producteurs qui vont nous parler de leur expérience et de leur expectation, et de leurs attentes avec le Sauvignon Blanc. Qu'est-ce qu'ils s'attendent du fruit? Qu'est-ce qu'ils s'attendent en tant que production? Donc, on va parler exclusivement des Sauvignons Blancs de l'Ontario. Donc, un beau bonjour à nos gens en français. Welcome, everyone. It's 4:15 here out west, 7:15 Ontario time. So, big welcome, everyone. We're going to talk Sauvignon Blanc from Ontario. We have wineries here. Let's take a little look here about our winery who have submitted samples so we can taste and talk. We have the Specs Brother family tree. So Henry of Pelham, Casaba, labeling 180 wines, Bellaterra, Burning Kiln, Divergence, Creekside, Rose Hall Run, Leaning Post, Dria's Wine, Ice Cellar, Big Head, and Fair Rock. So we all have like different style of Sauvignon Blanc. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to discover what we can do with Sauv Blanc from Ontario. Stainless steel, barrel ferment, barrel age, concrete. These are all different style of Sauvignon Blanc that when you ferment Sauvignon Blanc to provide a different texture, a different delivery. So we have all of that here, all different style. Also here a bubbly, I truly suspect here a Charmat Method bubbly from Creekside. This is VQA Ontario from the 2021 vintage. And not sure, like a 13% alcohol, VQA Creek Shore. It's VQA Ontario. So what's that mean here? That's mean the grapes are coming from all over the province. So we want to welcome people from back east. We want to welcome people here from BC, from Alberta, from Western Canada, who are tuning in to learn more about Sauvignon Blanc, especially from Ontario, because here, I think we have our classic here in British Columbia. This year, from the 2022 vintage, I think that my benchmark here, and has been for a couple years, I believe that Riverstone Sauvignon Blanc is pretty much the benchmark of BC Sauvignon Blanc, to my opinion. Also, Mayhem Anarchist Sauvignon Blanc, very, really good. So there's kind of my top 2 Sauvignon Blanc. I remember a couple of vintage ago, Black Market Wine Company made a spectacular barrel fermented Sauvignon Blanc. So yeah, we also have our rock star producer for Sauvignon Blanc here in BC. So now let's dig into our lineup. Our first guest will be coming in 12-minute times with Ali Openlander. So let's try to taste a few Sauv Blanc. You can have access to my spreadsheet where I'm going to, the live spreadsheet here. When Mira have a second, she's going to post it in the comment box. Welcome, Daryl. Great to have you on. You're tasting today the Domaine de Grand Prix 2021 Chardonnay. Nice little Chardonnay. I really enjoyed that. I would say great value proposition at $22, I believe. I really enjoyed what Grand Prix from Nova Scotia is doing here. Also, Ellen Peters is on. Ellen, welcome. Good evening. Hope you're having a good day. So let's get back to what's in my glass. I have Creekside 2021 Sauvignon Blanc, the Backyard Bubbly. So what do we look for when I get my nose in the glass with Sauvignon Blanc? I'm looking often for gooseberry or a little bit more. It can be also nectarine and tangerine. I can also look for grassiness. These are all classic aromas of Sauvignon Blanc. And then, okay, and there's international style of Sauvignon Blanc that we're used to always make reference to, right? Oh, the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, or the Sancerre, or the Pouilly Fumé, or the Fumé Blanc. Like, you know, these are all style of Sauvignon Blanc that sometimes we tend to taste different Sauv Blanc from around the world. And first thing who comes up, they're like, okay, we'll find these international reference, right? To me, when you get like that grassiness and that like really like grapefruit, gooseberry, bright acid, usually stainless steel, Sauvignon, New Zealand style comes up, right? When you got that flintiness, that bright minerality, often Sancerre comes to mind. If you get that barrel ferment, now often you got your first thing I'm talking about, maybe Fumé Blanc, right? So which was made popular by Robert Mondavi back in the 1970 early 80s. So long live to Sauvignon Blanc. I agree with you, Daryl. One of Mira's very favorite grape varietals. So let's give it a go.
Woo! Very good. It is one of my favorites. In fact, I need some right now. It has been a tricky kind of day. Oh, Elaine's saying Nomad Fumé Blanc.
Yes.
Fumé Blanc. I love it. So you were chatting about the flavor profile.
Here I got you.
I mean, this
Mira, how about you leave that wheel out there, grab 3 glasses, bring your butt up here. I will give you 3 samples. And I rather, you're much more fun when you have at least more than 2 glasses in front of you. You're fun all the time, but that's it there. You have a little je ne sais quoi when you have 3 glasses in front of you. So come and get your samples. And after that, we'll... Hey, I'll tell you something, all of you guys who are listening right now. We had an absolute crazy day around here. Mira was in the meeting, like in back-to-back meetings, I believe between 10 a.m. until 3:45. And I was all over the place as well, getting ready for that tasting. It was a pretty crazy day. So now it's time to celebrate. It's time to enjoy. I just had the first sip here, the first taste of the Creekside 2021 Bubbly, Backyard Bubbly. I believe that the Backyard Bubbly is from their home vineyard, one of the block from their home vineyard. But I will suspect here that there's grapes coming from different places as well from Ontario, because I got the VQA Ontario on the label. So here, Mira's up here. Here is the bubbly from Creekside. There you go.
Lovely.
And that's our first here. After that, we'll go with the Spec Brothers Family Tree.
Yeah.
Here. And I'm going to pour myself as well. And
Daryl, Kathy is not on the wheel. Yeah, you're right.
I know. I erased it. There's no Chilean Sauvignon Blanc. Oh, I'm not done here. Come back here. You need the cassava as well.
Well, thank you.
Can't come up here. Let me put 2 glasses.
All right.
All right. So here is now in my glass also cassava, the Susan's Vineyard. So let's do this. So I really enjoyed that first sip here of Creekside. So let's talk about the wheel here. We have citrus, we have passion fruit, we have grassiness, we have stone fruit, capsicum, green fruit. Okay, now Mira, I need your help here because I'm French. And capsicum to me, I can't really translate it. So
isn't that oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but isn't capsicum like peppers?
Okay, maybe. I know. I'm looking at the wheel here, and
okay, now I've Googled it. Yes, it's
like that kind of a special tell me
in
before.
Canada, Ireland, and South Africa, capsicum is known simply as peppers, green peppers.
Oh, there you go.
Canada and South Africa. Okay, missing from this little wheel is guava. I think that in BC,
absolutely,
Sauv Blanc, there's gorgeous guava flavors.
I think I put guava into the passion fruit category, maybe Southeast Asia type of a fruit. So here with our Creekside bubbly, I mean, it's pretty muted on the nose. There's not a ton coming up on the nose. There's a bit of citrus, but very, very little. There's a little bit of grassiness, not too much. And I would say, to me, there's a little bit more of the orange blossom. That's what I get here on the nose. Orange blossom is my dominant aroma. So, and it's soft on the palate. It's soft. It's creamy.
Mm.
You know, reminds me a little bit of the Lakeside bubbly. From Osoyoos. Easy drinking, nothing too complicated, nice bright acid, and that we're gonna get that pretty much all evening, right? The bright acid is one of the most common characteristic of Sauvignon Blanc. And here it's easygoing, like I said, a little bit more of the orange family of flavors. And that, you know what? For the price that I get here, let me see, because I need to remind people who are listening to us, if you're new to listen to our listener who are new to us, when I rate wine, always on a scale of 100, I always put the price in perspective. The price is very important in my score. Obviously, that doesn't move the score by 3, 4, 5 points, but there's a half a point to a full point where I can go sometimes a point and a half at the very most, if the crazy value for an absolute outstanding delivery. So here, when I look at the price of the Creekside bubbly, I'm at $30 on the dot here, including tax. All of the price we have tonight are all including tax. So at $30, a little simple. I would like maybe a little bit more complexity, but the freshness is beautiful. I like, this is an absolute patio pleaser here. And I would give that an 89 points on my scale. I appreciate that. My 89 means that I like it. It delivers the value. And yeah, I mean, 89, you're just on the verge of that serious 90 points where we're starting, like, I'm going to search this wine somehow. I'm going to talk about that wine to my friends.
All right. Guess what, Carl Boucher? After you take your sip, we already have Ali Openlander in the green room. And we're so excited to get these interviews going. We have 4 amazing winemakers, like world-class, phenomenal Ontario winery royalty winemakers, including Ali. And Ali is, tell us a bit about Ali, Carl, before she comes on. She is a winemaker at Liebling Wines, I believe.
Liebling Wines, it's a new project, maybe a couple years in, making specifically Sauvignon Blanc. What's get me really, really excited? I don't want to mean that I'm not excited to meet Ali for the very first time, but it's the family tree behind Ali Openlander. Matthias Openlander, Ali's dad is, but when we're talking about the royalty of Niagara, when we talk about growing aspect of the business, the Openlander family have been farming the land of Niagara on the lake for a long time. So having that second generation here with Ali and taking over the family business and having her own label, it's really, really, really exciting. So I'm thrilled to have her. And there's a few questions that I want to ask and I'm dying to ask. So yeah.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to meet Ali. Ali, come on the show with us. And maybe, I'm hoping we'll also taste your wines real soon here too. Ali.
Awesome. Hi. Thank you.
So great to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. I know my sister, I think she's trying to come on.
I see her. Can I bring her on
yes,
too?
of course. Yes, please. Please do. She's the one who really is, we're both wearing our sweaters. She's the one who's really
that's
the side.
Jessica, Ali, both of you, so great.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. So for the first time, so that's funny enough because over the weekend we did our Cabernet Franc marathon. We had 54 Cabernet Franc from all over the country open, and we tasted them all side by side. And I had in the lineup Fogelar wine, the Openlander vineyard side by side with another Fogelar. So it's really, really exciting. So now that we have you here talking about Sauvignon Blanc, it's really exciting. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Mark is one of the head winemakers with Liebling Wines. So Mark, Jess, Jeff Moot, and Mitch, they're the winemaking team behind Liebling Wines.
That is so good. Okay, so funny enough, just this afternoon, I'm building my spreadsheet where I'm putting all of the wines available for tonight, and I'm searching about Liebling wine, and I ended up on Collab website. I'm like, funny enough. So our next guest after you is Jeff Moot, and we're going to taste Divergence wine. So I think like everything is getting pretty much connected here. And on the weekend, we had Mitch McCurdy from Marinessence, the home of Collab Wine, were with us. So everything's going full circle here.
Yeah. It's all
So
connected, the industry.
Absolutely. So Jess, if I understand correctly, you are part of the winemaking.
Yeah, and the grape growing. So my brothers and I, we grow the grapes, and then I help make the decisions on the winemaking side. The guys at Drink Club do the hard work. I get to do the fun winemaking stuff.
Absolutely. And Ali, what is your role in that whole synergy here?
So the marketing and communications behind Liebling Wines.
That's funny because we always forget the third part. You know, when we say to make a good wine, we need a great site. You need someone like people to take care of the vines. We need a great winemaker. And at the end of the day, guess what? We need someone to sell the wine, right? So that's one of the key parts of every vintage. We need to sell these wines. So, why I was really excited also, I wanted to start to talk about the family tree. I would like to start to talk where the Openlander family started, when it started the family business of grape growing.
Okay, yeah. So our dad came to Canada in 1984. He just graduated from university and was offered an opportunity here in the Niagara region to plant a small vineyard. At that time, 1984, a lot of people questioned his decision to come to Canada, and why are you leaving Germany to come to this country? They can't grow grapes, they can't make wine. And he was young, 22, and like wanted an adventure, wanted to change, and he thought that there's something special in this region. And almost 40 years later, it's the small vineyard that he planted in Queenston has just expanded to now quite a few acreage, and he does custom farming as well, so growing a lot of grapes for wineries. And it was always a dream of his to have his own wine label, just small batch, small lot wines. Jess graduated in 2021 from Brock, from the Cool Climate Enology and Viticulture program, and it was in 2022 or 2022, let's say 2022, yeah. Jess and my dad were out in the vineyard. They were doing sugar testing, and Jess and Dad were like, "Oh my goodness, these grapes taste so good. I want to pick them now, and I want to like make our own wine." And Dad was like, "Let's do it." And they called me up and they were like, "Hey, Allie, like now's the time to do it." And I was like, "Yep, okay, we're going." Jumped into the deep end and haven't looked back since.
That is amazing. Oh my God, it gives me shivers. It gives me goosebumps. I love these kind of story. It's all about the emotion behind the label. It's just so cool. So now I want to talk about the Sauvignon Blanc, like the grape varietals and the Ontario terroir. To your opinion, let's get to Jess. Jess, with her little bit of winemaking. When you are in the winemaking facility, what makes you excited about Sauvignon Blanc, and what do you think you need to produce a good Sauv Blanc from your region?
So I think I could talk more from the probably more experience on the grape growing side. I think we can grow because that's kind of that's mainly what I do, mainly what our family does, and then connect both of them. I think we do amazing Sauv Blanc here just because we have such variations within our season that really allow it to ripen. And I think year to year we can do something really cool with it. And so like I would say for 2022, we kind of made a bad thing good because we had a short crop because of some winter damage, which resulted in some insane aromatics because concentration of all those flavors. We had a great lengthy summer, a long hang time, and that just results in some really nice aromatics. It was a great summer for ripening. We didn't really have too much disease pressure, so it was one of those really great years where you could hang stuff a little bit longer if you wanted to go for that more style. But just with all the heat, and our stuff comes from Niagara-on-the-Lake, and that specific site, it's flat. It just hangs out right under the escarpment, and it just gets a lot of beautiful sunlight, which really helps to ripen. And the way that the rows are facing the north-south rows too, gets a little bit of shade. And I think it really does a great job. And it was funny this year walking through the vineyard with Jeff too. One of our favorite things with Sauv Blanc, we were saying, is just the way the clusters are. You see on one side that they're really golden and the flavors are just really developed and tropical and amazing. And then on the other side of the cluster that's kind of shaded, you get something completely different. So just even in one cluster, you get so much crazy unique flavors. And I think that's a unique thing for us here in Niagara. And then in the winery side, when we pick the grapes, personally for us, we pick them really early in the morning. We're out there at 5:30, 6 a.m. and those cool temperatures really conserve those flavors. So I think we got it made here. When we're picking, it's cool in the morning. And then we can really help keep those Sauv Blanc characteristics.
And you talk about the aromatic earlier. Oh my God, that's what I have in my glass right now. And the aromatics are stunning. It's just exploding out of the glass.
Yeah, it's funny when my dad, so when we were deciding what we wanted to make and walking through the vineyards, he loves Sauv Blanc, adores Sauv Blanc. He's like, I want to make a Sauv Blanc this way. And we knew our favorite styles, and we were Allie and I were a little leery at first. We're like, all right, let's do it. You love Sauv Blanc, let's make the style you love. And I'm so happy with how it came out. It's just so aromatic and juicy and just lemonade-y. It's awesome.
Two questions before I let you go. First and foremost, it's about the style of the wine that you have in here. And are you going full on stainless steel, or because so I'm with my first sip, I'm like, okay, I'm not detecting any oak either ferment or any oak aging. It's full on stainless steel, correct?
Yep, full on stainless steel. Everything stainless. We wanted to keep it crisp and refreshing. Once it was done fermentation and all the other clearing up, we just kept it in stainless steel, didn't touch it too much, and then it went to bottle. So not too much intervention there, all stainless steel.
And your site, when you look at your site, what's the crop like? What's the tonnage per acre that you like to go, especially on Sauvignon Blanc? Just to give me an idea of the Ontario.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely site dependent. So that's so the site that we chose from was Old Peachland. So it's super fertile, amazing soil. Like it's a great soil. So I would say anywhere from the 4 to 5 tons an acre. Sometimes it could be 5, because you're balancing vigor there too. You know, a big thing I find with grapevines in certain areas, you want to make sure that that vine is balanced, that it can get through a season, and that you're not getting too much vigor there. So usually between like the 4 to the 5 tons it can hold. Sometimes a little bit more, but we like to keep it around there. For Sauv Blanc, I think it does well. It's you can keep the canopy nice enough. You have good sun exposure, but it's not too much.
Yeah, I like the answer. Let me get back to Ali for one more question here, because I think Sauvignon Blanc is a very different demographic than if you look at Chardonnay or a different grape varietal. Do you attack the market the different way when you try to sell Sauvignon Blanc compared, let's say, to an older style of grape like a Chardonnay?
No, when people taste this, they're just surprised. They have this conception of Sauvignon Blanc. You know, the dominant aromatic that is in a lot of Sauv Blanc wines that kind of deter people from this variety. But ours is just really nice and fresh. You get some tropical aromatics to it. It actually reminds me of the Haribo tropical gummy bears, little flavor.
We're German, so that's our
Yeah,
comparison.
and there's nice acidity to it. So when people do taste it, they're shocked. They're like, oh, I didn't think I liked Sauv Blanc.
Exactly right. So approachable. Now I'm starting to understand that with the German connection and the Marcel Morgenstern and all of that Niagara on the lake, like I call it the German mafia, right?
No, yeah, we need to thank Marcel for introducing you to our wines.
You know what? It's always I just love making new connection like that. And guys, for the first wine that you're putting on the market, I would say I absolutely love the value proposition of that wine. Only on the aromatic, I would give it a 95 points aromatic. It's incredible. The freshness and the purity of the nose, it's incredible. And bring in the value and all that. This is easily a 90 points to my impression here, and I will go all the way to 90 plus point. I really, really, really love what you get in there. So great job, girl. I mean, wow, you guys are up to something pretty cool. So
we did some fun stuff for this vintage too. So you just make do with what you got, and I think even 23 will be a notch up.
Yeah, but you guys are completely done with 23? Because just so you know, from here back in the West Coast, harvest has been done for almost a month.
Oh no!
Like everything is sitting in barrels and in tank, and the pressing is completely done.
Yeah, no, we still got some time to go. I'm hoping to get our Cab Franc off next week, but we'll see. We probably got about 3 more weeks of harvest, and then it's probably going to be ice wine not too far after that. We don't do ice wine for Liebling, but for our home farm, we do pick ice wine. So it's harvest, I think, is going to go till Christmas.
Wow, that's awesome. And Ali, what else coming up with Liebling? You have your Sauvignon Blanc already on the shelf.
Yeah,
so,
and same with our Riesling. We have a Riesling and a Gamay we released just before Thanksgiving. So those are the 3 wines available for tasting and purchase now. And then our Cab Franc from 2022 will be released. It's still in French oak, so it will be released next September.
That's fantastic. Well, great job. Thanks for joining me. Thank you so much I have Mira here coming. I'm sure that Mira would like to maybe ask one question before we end that.
I'm good. I'm just so grateful you guys joined us. It's so fun to meet you, and I hope we get to meet you in person next time.
Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much. It's great to meet you, and cheers to your harvest 2023, and best of luck.
Thank
Happy
you.
wine
Thank
Thanks.
you.
There you go. There you go. What a great start. Oh, that wine is bright. Wine is like a spark of happiness.
Amazing.
Like,
Spark of
yeah.
happiness. That's it, right? Wine is joy in a glass. And it's so nice to meet the people behind these wonderful glasses of wine and to know too that there's such a wholesome quality to Ontario Sauv Blanc. There's families behind these wines who have been working on this for generations to bring these kinds of wines to our own backyard. I mean, like we were saying, you know, you had this little image you found, Carl, about international wine production, and Canada's not even on the map,
No,
right?
and I was surprised to see Ukraine all the way, and like when I look at the whole, like all of the one prior to Ukraine, I'm not surprised to see the ranking here. Like there's nothing surprising. When I get to Ukraine and I'm like, okay, what's after Ukraine, and how many more countries do we need to go until we hit we hit Canada, right?
Yeah,
It's a very
you don't think of Ukraine when you think of wine in general, if not Sauv Blanc. I mean, yeah. So that's kind of how Canada is. It's so tiny compared to the rest of the world's production, and yet what's so exciting, as Stephen Spurrier said when he came out to the Okanagan, he said, "You guys don't know what kind of terroir you're sitting on here. It is so world class. It's ridiculous." So.
And it's funny, Mira, that you mentioned Spurrier and the Okanagan, but the same thing happened like when you look at the Ontario, when Matthias at 22 years old showed up in Ontario and didn't want to go back anywhere else. When I'm just thinking of Jean-Pierre Collard from 13th Street was dreaming to go to Argentina and showed up in Canada, in Niagara first, and never went anywhere because he just fell in love with the terroir. When Thomas Batchelder went to France and Oregon, and at the end he just wanted to come back home because the potential of what we have at home is incredible. So, I mean, I'm not going to start naming all of these people who either came here and didn't want to leave, or people want to come back. But this is like an amazing fact.
Yes, it is super amazing.
You're 90 plus for the labeling if you want to enter that on our sheet, and 89 for our Creekside Bubbly here. Okay.
Awesome. Amazing. Great. And so coming up next, Carl, we have another world-class winemaker joining us, Jeff Moot from Divergence Wines. We got to taste Divergence in the last year, I believe, for the first time, and we featured them earlier this year. And we were just super duper impressed. This is a newer brand, but Jeff has an incredible talent. Yes.
Mira, while I'm talking to Jeff, do you mind to pull up my tasting notes?
Oh, yeah.
Because I already tasted this wine. I have a full tasting note. I believe that I gave it a 91 points back earlier this year. I was so impressed with that wine. So please let me know if you can find that. That would be great if we can put that on the screen. If you really look for it, I can tell you it's in my tasting note folder.
So I have it here. Is it the Hughes Vineyard?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So I have 91 points, Carl's Wine Club. And
see, I told you so.
Yes, I'm actually just going to put it in the comments if anyone's curious. This is from our lovely new archive. Oh, it got cut off a little bit, but you get the idea.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Thank you, Mira. I like how it finished, like the structure and the acidity, right? It's such a characteristic of Sauvignon Blanc, and I think to preserve that acidity now in the vineyard and from the winemaking standpoint, you need to be such in synergy between the both side of the spectrum. So yeah. So do we have Jeff around?
Yes, Jeff is here. Welcome, Jeff. Great to see you. Nice to see you again. Great to see you again.
Yes, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Jeff. That's awesome. So yeah, funny enough, this afternoon when I was doing the research about the Liebling wines, and I realized that okay, so you guys are all connected. So that was just a couple of hours before we get on the show. So how it is to work with the Openlander sisters.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. Yeah, it's great to be a part of their project and see that come to fruition. They're really doing some great wines, and then I also get to work with some fruit from their vineyards, which maybe we'll get to talk about a bit later in this chat. But that's been a great relationship both ways.
Absolutely. But let's start right away with the fruits, because what I want to highlight tonight, what I want to learn, what I would love our people from all across the country is to learn more about why Ontario, why in your case Niagara can be so prolific in terms of Sauvignon Blanc, because it's not the grape varietals that we tend to recognize Niagara or Ontario for, but in fact that we can produce some world-class SB. So tell me a little bit more what makes Sauvignon Blanc special from your side.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with you that it doesn't have the recognition that maybe Chardonnay or Cabernet Franc or other grape varieties that grow so well here in Niagara have. But I think it really thrives. It maybe struggles with our winters in some sites where winter damage is an issue, but our growing season is very well suited to Sauvignon Blanc. And what I think excites me most about it every year is how unique the Sauvignon Blancs that we make in Niagara are, because I think in your intro you mentioned a lot of really benchmark Sauvignon Blanc styles from the old world in Sancerre and Pouilly-Fumé, or New World wines, California Fumé Blanc, or New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc. And Niagara really has something that takes pieces of those things. It is the same grape, but it has its own profile. And I think there's people doing a lot of really exciting things with it in Niagara.
I totally agree, and it's also a versatile type of grape, right? I mean, like when it's off the vines and you bring it to the facility, winemaker has some freedom to work with his own style.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't think I'm doing anything unprecedented or unheard of with the grape, but I do like to give it a bit of skin contact before pressing, try and get the aromatics and flavors out, and then I do barrel ferment my Sauvignon Blanc. The one in your glass is just over 50% barrel fermented, and stainless steel for the remainder. Moving into 2022 and beyond, I went to 100% barrel fermented on my Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh wow! Okay, so you're moving on the full-on barrel ferment. Do you use a little bit of new oak, or you go completely neutral for the fermentation?
Yeah, there's a bit of new oak in each vintage. So the 2021 you have is actually 37% of that is a Punchin, the brand new French oak Punchin. For 2022, it's about 30% new again, and then 23, the blend hasn't been made. The wine's just finishing up fermentation in barrels, but probably be right in that same range.
Let's talk about the source of the grapes for this 2021 that I have in front of me. The used vineyard. So we're looking here, it's VQA Lincoln Lake Shore. So tell me a little bit more about the sites and the Lincoln Lake Shore sub-appellation also.
Yeah, so it's an area that's really close to me, both in my like for making wines from it. It's also where I live. So I live in Beamsville, Ontario, which is the town closest to the area that Lincoln Lakeshore encompasses, although it's actually quite a large appellation stretching all the way from the end of Niagara at the Hamilton border all the way to the Jordan Harbor. So it's quite a large appellation, but close to the lake, it benefits from Lake Ontario's moderation, as well as lots of good sunshine and sort of flatter slopes. So it's a pretty nice place to grow Sauvignon Blanc. The Hughes Vineyard is a site that I really enjoy making wines from. Ed Hughes, the grower, has since sold that vineyard, but I did make 2 vintages of Sauvignon Blanc as well as some other wines from there before he did. And the fruit quality from there was always stellar. Ed was such a good grower, and was really able to get the kind of ripeness and complexity I was looking for in the grapes.
If I look at the map and where Sauvignon Blanc grow in Ontario, am I correct to assume that the lake effect has a big impact on the quality and maybe also the safety to safely grow Sauvignon Blanc, because it's a little bit more wintered. There's a difficult sometimes like to freeze. So is it right to say that around the lake is the safest place to grow Sauvignon Blanc?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So the safety that the lake provides, whether it's Lincoln Lakeshore or Niagara Lakeshore in Niagara-on-the-Lake, any of the sort of lakeshore appellations benefit from the moderation of the lake to save the vines in the winter. Conversely, Sauvignon Blanc's an early ripening variety, so it doesn't need the longest growing season. So the season in those areas is more than enough to ripen Sauvignon Blanc in our area, and we hold on to some really great acidity because of that shorter growing season.
And so now that used vineyard was sold, where did you turn your attention, your focus on your new source of grape for the upcoming vintages?
Yeah, so sort of a happy problem, bittersweet, because I really enjoyed working with Ed and his fruit. But for 2023, I sourced some Sauvignon Blanc from the Oppenlanders, so from a different farm than they're making the Liebling wines from. They have a really special farm in the 4 Mile Creek sub-appellation, and some of the older Sauvignon Blanc vines in Niagara, and some really special terroir there, some heavier soils, similar to the soils that I liked in Lincoln Lakeshore, that give really concentrated flavors, really ripe, rich Sauvignon Blanc, which is the style that I enjoy.
So is there a big difference working on NOTL fruits versus the escarpment fruit?
Yeah, I would say there is definitely a difference, although that difference is probably more site by site than broadly speaking in those areas, at least when we're talking about Sauvignon Blanc. The pick dates are definitely a bit earlier in Niagara-on-the-Lake by 1 to 2 weeks. But with good growing practices, you really just hang it until the flavors and the acid balance are where you want them, and you pick Sauvignon Blanc. You can pick it super early, like Ali and Jess were saying, to keep that freshness and punchy aromatics, or you can really hang it late for really tropical flavors and everything in between.
Yeah, because I get there's different things. There's a little bit of citrus on the frame of that wine, but at the second that you get into the mid palate, it's much more. It's much more open. There's that little vanilla coming from the barrel. There's also a little bit more tropical fruit on the mid palate, a little hint of grassiness. But to me, what stands out to me, the legs are fantastic. You see a great concentration in that wine. Very like the length is and the acid from start to finish. There's a bright frame of acidity in that wine. Keeps everything fresh. Top notch. I mean, I stand behind my 91 points that I gave that wine earlier this year. This is an absolute beauty. And when I was surfing on your website, I noticed there's a little discount on your wine, on that wine. So I tell everyone, hey, if you're looking for a great Sauvignon Blanc for the season, get into the Collab website, and there's a little discount on that wine.
Yeah, so it's a really good price right now. Just save a bit of money. The sale's there because I want to offer people a little bit easier access for the holidays to stock up, and also looking forward to releasing the 2022 vintage of this wine. I apologize that the samples haven't made it to you out there on the West Coast. I understand they're sort of somewhere in between us in the middle of the country, but there is a...
According to the tracking, it's still in Winnipeg.
Yeah, hopefully not frozen. We'll have to send another set of bottles if they don't make it there. But yeah, I'd really look forward to hearing your thoughts and comparing the vintages. 2022 is definitely a more ripe and concentrated vintage, and I think it's really cool to see them side by side. So,
hey, and what did you make for the 2023 growing season? Because I know here in BC we had a ton of challenge, extremely small crop, but great quality for what we get. How's things on your side? Because when I was there, I know like this summer was extremely rainy, but the fall was outstanding fall season. So how's your vintage looking like?
Yeah, absolutely. The vintage was sort of saved in September and October. We had challenging summer for moisture. It was a nice enough in terms of heat units summer, but challenging in terms of disease pressure with the rains that came. But when it matters most, from Labor Day to Halloween, it's the weather really turned around and has made for a really classic vintage, very balanced wines with really good balance of flavors and ripeness against acidity. So we've been fortunate for 2023, and I think there's going to be a lot of exciting wines to come out of it.
That's amazing. Mira, thanks for joining us. How are you doing?
Pretty great, pretty great. I need to come up there and taste some more of these wines that you're talking about, though. Jeff, it was such
Absolutely.
a pleasure to learn more about your Sauv Blancs and the vineyards they come from and everything that you guys chatted about. Very fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thanks for having me on and promoting this exciting grape variety.
Thank you, Jeff. Best of luck with the rest of the 2023, and we'll be in touch. Okay, and we'll send our runners and guardian here to find that box somewhere in the country so we can connect and talk about the new vintages.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks
Have a
so
good
much,
one.
Jeff. Have a great evening. Thank you.
There you go. So, what have you made of the wine that I poured you earlier?
Oh, it's all fabulous. I mean, I love what Vicky was asking a little earlier. She said, find me one that has more of the, what you're calling the passion fruit, Asian fruit flavors. So she's saying guava, which is what I think it is too, Vicky. I love that guava on the Sauv Blancs. So yeah, I don't know if we found one like that for you quite yet, but there's still, I don't know, 12 to go, Carl. How many? It's very exciting. And guess what?
So I just tasted side by side the
yeah.
family tree from the Speck brother in the Casaba. Completely different. Well, the one that you have, a completely different flavor profile. So do we have another guest just joining in? Because we have, the show is stacked of interview, is front loaded today, because the reason is it's 5 o'clock here, but it's 8 o'clock down there. So, so we have to bring them on as early as possible.
Exactly. So yes, Andrea Kaiser is on the line with us. We're going to bring her in just a second, Andrea. And yeah, we're very excited. I believe the winery is called Dria's Wine, and it has one of the most phenomenal stories I think I've ever heard in terms of the richness of the winery's history.
Tradition. How about that?
And just the beautiful family story behind it. So we're so excited to meet Andrea Kaiser. Hi, so nice to meet you.
You too. What a nice introduction. Thank you so much. It was so great.
Andrea, good evening. Happy Wednesday. It's so great to finally meet and to have you on. Thanks for taking the time tonight, talking about the family richness and your origin and where you are now compared to when your dad started the whole thing, right? I mean, we're talking about like it's two different universes now. I mean, what we became when your dad started, it's completely like it's two different worlds. So yeah, thank you for joining us. I have a few questions. And Mira, while I'm talking with Andrea, please come on up here. I would like to pour you a sip of Dria's Wine 2022 vintage, okay? It's worth it. The nose is absolutely incredible. So I can't wait to dig into that. So come on up here, okay?
Yes. And I think though, but you got to, Carl, for those that don't know, I don't even know the whole story. So tell us a little bit about the background.
That's what I'm getting in. Okay, so Andrea, so your last name is Kaiser. So you're the daughter of Carl Kaiser, who founded Enniskillen Winery back in the 70s, I believe. Yes. And I think to me, it's a trailblazer of the Canadian wine industry, as much as the whole, like, there's so the Panichetti or the Schmidt, or like as much like there's some family back west as well, but your dad was at the forefront of that. So, and you grew up in the vineyard. So tell us a little bit more about the family origin, please.
Sure, of course. Thanks. It's such a great story. And really, my wine brand that I have is such a special experience for me because I get to share these stories and tell some funny stories and some great stories. And it's an amazing journey for me. It's been absolutely so special. And it really is interesting because, you know, you're talking about, you know, what it was like there. There is no question that, you know, growing up and thinking back to the early days of when we produced wine here in Canada, it was a completely different scene. But to be able to have kind of gone through that journey and see where we are now is also very exciting. And certainly there's lots of the great old stories of the different grapes that we used to grow sort of way back when. But what was really interesting and special about what Enniskillen did was one of the first to really understand that it was what the grapes that were being grown that made the difference to the wine. And so really trailblazing that idea of the grapes that needed to be grown had to be premium vinifera grapes, which are the classic winemaking grapes. And there were a number of growers at the time who took the chance and saw that. Mary Neeson, I think you were talking with Mitchell the other day on your Cabernet Live, and Paul Bosc from Chateau de Charme, lots of visionaries, Len Panichetti, that really understood that and took the chance to plant these grapes and to then see that change that made to the wines. And when you're growing up in that, you know, it was firsthand. I don't think I was young at the time. It wasn't until really recently that I understood the impact that he had on the industry and the changes that were happening at the time. Because when you're living it and you're at the dinner table and your dad's complaining about...
It's just normal, right?
Talking about malolactic fermentation, you think everybody knows what that is. And like, oh, maybe that's not what people talk about at the dinner table all the time. So yeah, it was it really wasn't until in the last, 5 to 7 years losing my dad that you start to realize, oh my goodness, like this was pretty special when we saw, at the celebration of life and saw all the people that came to pay tribute to him and his accomplishments. And what was really amazing was to hear all the people that came to us as a family to say, your dad helped us, your dad taught us, your dad shared his information, your dad wanted the whole industry to be better. And that was really very cool, both him and his partner Donald.
Okay, I want to know, did you ever make fun at your dad when you were little, tasting wines and smelling your glass and pretending that it smells like whatever it is? Because I have 3 kids myself, and sometimes they'd kind of do a contest of who's going to look the most silly, making fun of dad smelling wine. Did you do the same?
Oh, absolutely. We used to love to give my dad a hard time. And of course, one of my favorite stories with my Sauv Blanc was after he retired, which is interesting because he wasn't sort of well known in Enniskillen as a Sauvignon Blanc maker, but he started making it when he retired because he knew my mom and I loved it. And then he would make Cab Franc for my brother, my sister, and himself. And so we had sort of these 2 tanks in the home garage after he retired. And so every year I would just love to tease him and complain that had a little too much sugar, the acidity wasn't quite right. And then I'd always say, you know what? Don't ever put oak in my Sauvignon Blanc again. And he would just sort of chuckle and say, oh, that was just 1 year. I only did it once. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think like if you look at the evolution of our industry, yes, things evolved so much between like the 1980 but to me, when I look what happened between 2010 and 2020, to me, how things went to here to like the growth is just so fast and so like in all of the subdivision of the sub-appellation, the precision, how the vineyards became so like the technology to bring the quality of our grape. I truly believe that last decade took Niagara and Ontario at the really like at the world-class level.
Absolutely. And the technologies of winemaking around the globe are just it's kind of mind-blowing, optical sorters, picking out the best berries, the things that are available. We've got growers like the Openlanders, that are investing in the technologies to make farming. And I mean, that's the whole thing, right? You cannot make amazing wine without amazing grapes. So it does all start on the farm, and that's really critical and important. And as you said, there's been this big jump in terms of winemaking and grape growing technologies that have helped to catapult the industry forward. So it is quite incredible to see the growth over the last 10 years, as you say, the number of wineries that exist. And it's pretty exciting to see that all happen.
Let's talk about the source of the fruit, okay? Because that's what tonight I really tried to highlight, and I tried to understand where, and now I'm starting to get my mind around, like, the big body of water have a tremendous influence, especially for Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah.
So if I look at at your label here, your VQE Niagara Peninsula, so you're sourcing from a couple of different sources, my understanding, reading the label. So what's your source, and what's the thought process?
Yes, all of my fruit is from Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I think that's you talked about the way that we've evolved too in identifying the areas, the terroir, the sub-appellations. So there was a lot of work done originally with VQA about the idea that it was guaranteed 100% Ontario, it's all local fruit. But then we had that sort of division of the land and the research that was done, and it's kind of hard for people to grasp sometimes the idea of terroir sub-appellations and how there can be such differences in different farms. And so a lot of the work that the committee did, which my father actually worked on, and they did a lot of research, growing degree days, the way the sun faces, the influencing waters. And it was really kind of cool the way he explained it to me the one day we were chatting, and I said, he was very humble about the work he did. Oh, I hear you're working on VQA, what's that all about, the sub-appellations? And we were driving down Concession 1, which is one of the roads that happens to split, and it doesn't always relate to the roads itself. It's more about the geographical factors in grape growing, but that does split the Niagara River sub-appellation that runs from the escarpment along the river to the lake. And then the heading across from Concession 1 is the 4 Mile Creek area. And we were driving down Concession 1, and he's like, what, you can just see it right now. It was the fall. He said, if you look to the left, you can see that the leaves are still green. They're still producing. They're still offering nourishment to the grapes. But you look to the right, and the leaves are now brown. And so they've stopped ripening. And so it's, visually understanding those differences of what and how that can affect the fruit. For me, in terms of looking at Sauvignon Blanc, Niagara-on-the-Lake, I would suggest as an appellation is predominantly a little bit better for Sauvignon Blanc in the sense that it is a little more tender of a fruit varietal, doesn't love Ontario, Canadian winters. And so we are a little more protected in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We've got the escarpment as well as the river and of course the lake that creates this specialty crop area. Not to say that there aren't obviously specialty crop areas up in the bench area, but just a little bit warmer, a little longer growing degree days, and not quite such difficult winters in terms of damage to the vines. And so Merlot, Sauvignon Blanc, you definitely want to focus on Niagara-on-the-Lake for those varieties because you're going to have a little more luck potentially through the winter with damage to the vines.
Well, when we talk about the structure, right, and the frame of acidity, when I get to your one, it's more a little bit more richness. There's more meat around the bone, like some of the previous one that I just saw. It's laser focused, bright. This is their style, but here I'm starting to get a little bit more. It's a little softer. Lots. There's a lot of complexity. I mean, it's not a competition tonight. I'm not, but I tend, just for our audience, we've been rating the wines on the same scales for 3 years now, so people get an understanding of the appreciation. I mean, you're at 91 plus here with your Sauvignon Blanc. No, honestly, I really love it's round, but there's also a very solid frame of acidity. It's there, but there's a lot around it. So now your philosophy, after you get the grape, you bring the grape back to the facility. What's the philosophy with the grape?
So cold fermentation, my mission in all of my wines is to always be fruit forward. I'm very passionate about the fruit flavor in the wines. And it's funny, it kind of relates back. It's something that I love in terms of my wine style that I design and craft. But I remember just growing up, that memory of my dad tasting old wines and always saying, it's still got the fruit, Drea. It's, it's amazing. It's got the fruit. And to me, that I identify with as an amazing wine when it has those natural fruit flavors that last over time. It's also something I enjoy. So I'm very focused on the cold fermentation to preserve that fruit flavor and that freshness. And so, especially with Sauvignon Blanc, obviously with my red, my Cab Franc, a tiny bit different where I do a little bit of oak, but 100% stainless steel, because I just want that grape variety to shine through. I do that with my rosé as well. And I do a red as well. That's tank fermentation, because again, I would say that's kind of my sort of overall style of wines. If you're looking, is that fruit natural forward flavors, and then the bright acidity, but to your point, well balanced, so that it's not just laser acidity without the body to go along with it. So yeah, generally speaking, that's what I kind of focus on with all my wines. And I only do a little bit of oak aging on my Cab Franc just to give it a little bit of depth. I know you tasted it a couple of weeks ago, but my mission was just to have, again, that fruit, which you identified, which was amazing for me to hear. So thank you for that. That was the first thing that came through. And then that extra layer was just about 8 months of French older oak, because again, that's just my style of wines that I really enjoy.
Yeah, and in terms of the Cab Franc for the weekend, to me it was elegance.
Exactly.
There was an elegance into that, a pretty lady who, like, we can take her out for a nice, like classy dinner, but very versatile as well. Nothing was up front. Thing was all falling apart, like it was all taking place in the right order, but all in a beautiful elegance, and just a little bit of roundness bring by the oak and a tiny tad of spice at the end. And there's a few people that they turn some heads, because we have an open house on Sunday at our place where people can come and taste all of the 54. Yeah. And that bottle got put up. Hey, what is that? Where is that coming from? So when there's that many bottles around the table, and that the same one can bring up like couple of times, I was like, oh, okay. So well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if there's one philosophy other than the three main philosophies I have is the natural fruit flavors, but also balance. That was kind of drilled in my head growing up, and I really equate winemaking a lot to being a chef. You want everything to be in harmony. You're not exactly sure maybe what that herb or spice is, and there's just enough salt, there's just enough pepper. And in a wine, I think that's the same thing. You just want everything to be working together and to be in balance. So that's sort of my second tenet. And then I'm a little bit of a fanatic about the fact that I love my wines bone dry. So I'm going to have 3 grams per liter tattooed somewhere on my body, that I will never think more than 3 grams per liter.
I love it. Hey, Drea, we have Ellen Peters here, who's on the call. She works at Between the Line, and Ellen has a bottle. I know, and she had opened a bottle of yours tonight, a 2017 vintage.
Oh, awesome. So first vintage, and I do feel kind of guilty. So I have a bottle of my Sauvignon Blanc to enjoy with you, but the only one I didn't have my 22 at home. I just had my 19, and I do feel like so honored to share that it did receive a distinguished score from Jancis Robinson in the UK. So I'm like, feeling like really guilty that I have this vintage and you have the 20.
The royalty of international scoring, Madam Jancis. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. But you know what? You have now the highest score on our list so far tonight. So
well, it is my favorite wine, and it was my passion project. Not only an expression, obviously, of the legacy of my father, but I love Sauvignon Blanc. It's the exact style. And it was really funny when I first made my 17 that Elaine's enjoying. I was tasting it the first time, and I'm like, oh, for heaven's sakes, I hope I like this. Like, seriously, if I have to sell it, and then I tasted it and I was like, oh, it's exactly what I, wanted it to taste like. And so it's been, it is my baby. It's my first wine that I came out with. So it does get a lot of love and attention from me. It's an amazing varietal, one of my favorites. So versatile, as you know, and I'm so excited that you're talking to have a whole show dedicated to the grape. And it's awesome for Ontario. As I said, some sections of Ontario may not, doesn't love the winter, but for certain parts of Ontario, especially the Niagara and the Lake, a little bit warmer, sub-appellation. There is sub-appellations. It performs really well in the vineyards. So
there you go. So can we expect something new coming from you in the next couple of years? Are you working on something outside of the Cap Franc and the Rosé and the Sauv Blanc, or?
Yeah, so a couple of things. So I have a rosé, which is actually, I call it a rosado. So I have a rosado coming out next year. I've had it out for a couple of years, but it's from the I'll have to send you some. It's from the Dornfelder grape. One of the grapes my dad always thought was great for Ontario, but the marketer said, there's no way you can sell that. It's like, who's going to buy Dornfelder? So I'm on a mission to prove the Canadian marketers that day that's wrong, and we're going to sell Dornfelder, and that was pretty exciting. I'll have to send you some. My 2021, which hasn't come out yet, received a 90 score in Decanter, so that was super exciting this summer. Top Canadian rosés, a little plug, and then sparklings. I just love sparkling as well. So I recently came out with a Blanc de Blanc, and dreaming of a Pinot Rosé sparkling. So that's maybe in a year or two.
Oh my God! Well, you know what, Drew? We are excited to support you and to know more about your whole portfolio, because, as you may know, we do weekly features every week from all over the country. So let's keep talking. There's might be a Carl's Wine Club and Andrea's Wine weekly feature coming up maybe in the next year or so.
Thank you. And thank you for your passion about Canadian wine. It's amazing to hear you talk about Canadian wines and to think back to, sort of the old days and people's perceptions of Canadian wines. And one of the things that I loved about my dad's vision was, in many interviews, well, what do you want your wine to taste like, Carl? Do you want it to taste like a Chablis, a Bordeaux, well, I don't want it to taste like any of those. I want it to taste Canadian. It's got to be Canadian. And people have to buy it because they love it. So thank you for
Yeah.
and if I'm where I'm at today, after 25 years in the international wine business, like with the big brands and the Sassicaia of the world, the Cristals of the world, the Bordeaux Primeur of the world, I have to thank that lady down here. That lady pushed me hard to focus my time on Canadian wine because it's worth it. And here we are now, 100% Canadian wines. And sometimes I have to force myself to crack open a bottle of international wines just to keep myself, remind myself, okay,
music to my ears.
There you go. Well, thank you. Mira, do you have anything for Andrea?
Well, I just want to say thank you. Like, he always brings me in at the end because I love listening. And I think that's just a most amazing story. I hope when we're out in Ontario and Niagara, we'll be able to meet in person.
I would love
and
that.
Like Carl said, we're excited to keep in touch and see where that goes. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. And thanks again for your passion and your love of Sauv Blanc and highlight of Sauv Blanc. It's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea. You have a great evening. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, nice to meet you both on.
Thank you. Thank you. Andrea Kaiser from Niagara here. And Andrea's Wine 2022 Sauv Blanc, absolutely fantastic. What do you think, Mira?
Oh, I loved it.
Do you see that richness? That I'm stunned. There's no oak in there. It's 100% stainless steel, but there's a richness and there's a finish. There's kind of a little bit of a white pepper at the end that I have rarely feel with the Sauvignon Blanc. This is not a typical fit. There's something fantastic in that wine. There's a minerality, and I absolutely love that wine. I'm a big fan. There you go. Whew.
There we go. I have to say, I have multiple people around me, but one is very special. Had her birthday yesterday. Is actually one of our members from Ontario. I hope she doesn't mind I mention. And Tammy's here, and she works at Bellaterra, but she's also an amazing member in Carl's Wine Club. And we were actually just whispering just a couple of minutes ago about the texture of that Drea's wine, Sauv Blanc, and how special it is. There's no oak or anything in that, though, right?
No. It's full on stainless steel, but the texture is just absolutely incredible for a stainless steel wine. I mean, there's a minerality. And Elaine, you're bang on. You're absolutely bang on. I didn't want to bring the point Sancerre because, again, like Drew was mentioning at the end, like I think we too often bring that international comp into our thing, and I know it's kind of like I didn't want to bring that in front of her, but yes, there's that little like minerality, that stony, flinty minerality at the end, that little citrus peel that. Yeah, really Sancerre. Absolutely. Texture is fantastic. Love that wine. We have a top score here, 91 plus. I really love that wine.
Amazing. Well,
There
guess
you
what?
go. What?
We're rapid fire here, chatting with the Ontario winemakers, and we have another legend in the room. We have Fabien Race from Ferox on the line.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Fabien, we are so excited to meet you. I hope I didn't mess up your name too badly. Is it?
Not at all. No, it's all good. You
Excellent.
can call me Fabien. Fabien Rice. Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, guys. It's my pleasure. And unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties with the computer, so I'm just doing it over my phone. Can you guys hear me
you
good
look
and see me okay?
Oh yeah.
Fabien, it happened. Welcome to my world. It happened like once a week. We have technical difficulties. It's part of the live. You know when you record thing and you clip and you no. Screw that. I like the live. I like the emotion and I like the authentic part. So welcome on your phone. We don't give a crap. We're happy to have you on. Okay.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having us, guys. I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for having the opportunity to talk about the wines and about the industry, and as well as so thrilled to have such a to be involved with this, and this tasting and seeing how passionate you are, Carl, with the industry and really helping the Ontario wine and the Canadian wine industry really boost and get lifted. And you're really a true ambassador. I'm really proud to be on the show. So thank you. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Fabien. Listen, when I was, I went like for WestJet hired me back in 2015 to redo their entire onboard wine program. But there was one caveat in that is I had to select some Canadian wines. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? I've been working with international wines my whole career. So I started to travel across the country. And that's where my love for Canadian wine really started. And I decided to flip completely and focus my whole time on Canadian wine because just like you, I truly freaking believe that what we do is world class. And like where we're at now, it's the golden age of Canadian wine, to my opinion. Like the quality where we're at compared to where we were 15 years ago, it's complete. It's two different worlds. We are producing some incredible stuff, and we just want to. Mira and I, that's what we want to do. We're striving that every day that Canadian wine lovers know that what we do here, it's worth trying and it's world class. So thanks for putting that fantastic juice into our glass. It's worth talking about it. And today I want to keep the focus on Sauvignon Blanc because I think that our Sauvignon Blanc, especially the Ontario Sauvignon Blanc, doesn't get as much love as it should. The quality is fantastic. And I want to know a little bit more about the source of the grape. Where do you source the Sauv Blanc, especially here for the 2022? You're in the 4 Molecule appellation, so you're Niagara on the lake. Tell me a little bit about your source of fruit.
So source of fruit is we grow our whole 20 acres, which is the Niagara Lakeshore appellation. So we source this Sauvignon Blanc from our that has about 40 acres. The Sauvignon Blanc itself is about a 9-acre parcel, so 7 to 8 acres. So it's not. No, I think I have some technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's cutting off. It's cutting out a lot. I can't really get you here.
Sorry, can you give me 1 second? Yeah, just
Oh.
1 second. I'm gonna try to do the computer. Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. We'll have a lot of time.
Give me 1 second.
Hey, Carl Boucher, I'm here.
There you go. So we have Mira Boucher here. How many wines do you need to taste here?
At least 2 or 3. I mean, I
Okay,
definitely want to taste Fabian's wine.
So we have Fabian here. Okay, so this is Ferox.
This is Ferox. And I'm gonna grab a little from our friend.
Did you have Ali Openlanders?
I sure did. Oh, Ali, no, I didn't.
So this is Ali's wine. Liebling.
Liebling. Okie dokie.
So we're just here fitting up Mira and the guests downstairs.
And what are we tasting after we meet with Fabian?
After we meet with Fabian, I'm going to go back all the way to the beginning. But now that we already tasted Divergence, how about you guys have a glass of Jeff Moot?
Okay.
Moot here. So we have Lincoln Lake Shore. You have with Ali Openlander is
second.
She is Formal Creek appellation, and also Formal Creek with Fabian. Okay.
Awesome.
There you go. So trying to feed the wife here. It's very important, Fabian. We need to feed the wife.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, absolutely. Oops, it disappeared. That's okay. So let's review a little bit more. Here I have Ferox wine here in my glass. Formal Creek appellation. This is a 2022 vintage. This is bright. This is zippy. This is filled with energy, like really energetic. Low alcohol, we're 12%. It's well structured. This wine will age for a very long time. Right now, it's just exploding out of the gate. Like this is like a race horse, like just like boom. There's a ton of complexity in that wine. I don't get on the nose, I don't see any oak influence. To my opinion, it might be exclusively stainless steel, but very pure. There's a purity in that I haven't get in any other wine. That's for sure. Yeah, bright, zippy, clean. There's a nice minerality as well. So very complex. Like I always said, now we're talking premium wine. So talking premium, my expectation are premium. This wine absolutely deliver my expectation as well. Oh, here you go. Brian Schmidt is in the house. There you go. Brian, welcome and good evening. I love that question, Brian. This is such a double-edged sword. And I bounce back and forth, you know. Do we want to age Sauvignon Blanc? It is a real serious question because I think fundamentally, at the very basic of the question, Sauvignon Blanc was the purpose is to be aged, is the purpose to be drink young? But if you flip that in the Bordeaux region, where it's a major part of the white Bordeaux blend, but these wines are made to age. So this is a really good question, Brian. We can debate that, and it's pretty. To me, I think there is a middle ground into that. I love my wine energetic. I love my wine with vibrant and deliver some energy. So I would say not more than 3 to 4, maybe 5 years. But now if we talk about the oak and also the oak aging and bringing some different tone past the top of the curve, it's a completely different question. But sorry, Fabian is back. Fabian, there you go.
I apologize. I don't know. There's something wrong with maybe it's the weather, the connection. I do apologize, but I'm listening and I'm hearing. And to Sauvignon Blanc, just back to what I was mentioning earlier, just about the vineyard. So it is from about a 7 acre parcel that we have on our 40 acre property on the sub-appellation Fromal Creek. Older vines planted in 2000, clone 107 and 108. Sauvignon Blanc is for me Riesling and Sauvignon Blanc for me are my two favorite white wines that I absolutely love and adore because, first of all, I studied in Europe winemaking and viticulture. So I did a lot of work in Northern Italy and Austria and Germany. So for me, my favorite Sauvignon Blancs, besides Ontario, they come from Austria. And Austria is a bit of an underrated region for hearing the quality of what they have. But I think this is the type of style we're looking at making. We do several Sauvignon Blancs. This one is more lean, more acid-driven, very fresh, where we have another Sauvignon Blanc where we just sold out of a while back, which is more Sancerre Bordeaux style, a little more creamy, a little more rich, a little more texture. But here, this is something where we're looking at a little bit lower alcohol. This is a wine we exclusively made for the club, for the wine club, because it was a very limited quantity, very exclusive. So
am I reading correctly on the level 65 cases?
Yeah, that's all we made from this wine, right? But it's the only Sauvignon Blanc I could bring to the table to offer. But that's all we to showcase. That's what we had to taste. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, very easy to pair with food. Rich acidity, very lean, fresh. No oak, because you mentioned about oak earlier. There's a reason for that. We use oak on wines, typically on red wines, but for white wines, we're very minimalistic. If we work with oak, with Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc, even Riesling, it'll be more neutral oak. We work with acacia oak. Here, we're really looking at balance because these wines have to live, right? They can't just fade in 2 years, 3 years. And that's why you mentioned about the Cabernet Franc on your last elegance, right? This is something we look at elegance. We're not looking at big wines with lots of alcohol. We want wines to really just speak on their own, right? And it's all about balance.
Yeah, and so to me, when I describe that style, it's zippy, right? It's zippy, it's linear, it's energetic. This one is vibrant. There's a vibrancy in that. Like it's very impressive.
Okay, so I have to say something. Am I getting it right, Carl, that this is more along the lines of like what Vicky, I'm learning, and myself are looking for that passion fruit, because I'm getting more of that passion fruit on the flavor of this one.
I mean, to me, I'm more on the lemon side here, Mira. I'm more on the lemon and the minerality. When we talk passion fruit, guava, I'm more trending towards Andrea's wine than I have with Fabian. Fabian, I'm more like on the Mare lemon, something that very, very stimulate my taste bud instead of coating my mouth in a richer style of tropical fruit. Okay. But your palate is different than my palate, so I'm not going to tell you what you taste. That's none of my business, especially not on camera.
I love it. I just want to make sure I'm tasting the right wine because I have like 40 here, but I'm pretty sure the first one you poured to me was Fabian's wine, right? Okay.
Absolutely. Nonetheless, an absolute beauty of wine. Fantastic. There's something here. There's a different level of complexity, Fabian. So what I wanted to get with you, it's about the ageability of this wine. Often, when we talk about ageability, people tend to always get back to the old program in terms like when they refer to ageability. And I don't think that it's always connected. Mm-hmm. We can have a clean stainless steel wine with a tremendous aging potential. Am I correct here?
Absolutely, you can. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the style of wines, right? As mentioned before, we want our wines they're going to come across very fresh, but we also have some wines still in our portfolio that are, like white blends that are from 2020, that are still alive. They're still, they come in with very low pH. We have a reason why we pick very early, because we want to maintain that acidity and that low pH. But I mean, here, these wines typically, like the Sauvignon Blanc here, this 2022, I'd say would be, somewhere between maybe 7 to 10 years, 7 to 8 years, around that. Where the other wine before, the one that sold out, the more French-driven Sauvignon, I think might have more ageability because it has a little more texture, it has more depth. We do slight bâtonnage, so we do a little bit more autolytic character, purposely full, because a lot of people are not a huge fan of. There's two types of Sauvignon Blanc fans, right? The Sauvignon Blanc fans are New Zealand driven. They like more the guava, green apple, the asparagus, the high acidity, the freshness, the more linear style. Where the other style of clients like more something a little more round, a little more softer, more elegant. And so that's why we do different categories and styles. But we tend to go into more of a reductive method. We work more with neutral oak to really balance those flavors, because like oak can be very dangerous. You can really mask those primary aromas. We're trying to be very careful and very we pay attention detail to that to make sure we don't hinder the fruit that we try bringing in and maintaining, right?
Sweet spot for that wine, to my opinion, 4 years. That would be like my sweet spot. What about you? What would you say?
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, I think that would be, somewhere from 4 to 5 years as well. I agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get back to Brian's question here. Brian was asking earlier, Brian Schmidt from Violent Estate. Brian is asking, say, Carl, it's a debate out there, a very serious question. Should we age Sauvignon Blanc? And I think now, talking about what we're saying, should we reverse the question and get back to Brian? Brian, which style of Sauvignon Blanc? Should we age the fumé style more and try to keep the straightforward stainless steel a little younger? Is it the right strategy? What's your philosophy about that, Fabien?
Well, I mean, screw cap and cork, I mean, it's such a big topic. I mean, again, I was just in Europe a few months ago, drinking wines anywhere from 10 euros to over 100 euros that are in screw cap. I mean, in Europe, I have this feeling that, screw cap is not offensive, first of all, to a consumer. And then if you get into the ageability side of screw cap, I mean, there's wines out there that can age tremendously in screw cap. There's all types of screw caps that we can get into on different discs that are inside the screw cap for ageability purposes that you can choose based on the style of wine that's being made in the ageability process on the wine. But again, we try to choose cork on reds that are a little bit more intense, that are more powerful, that really age. But back to Sauvignon Blanc, we did choose screw cap for this wine to keep it more fresh, a little more lean. What happens typically with Sauvignon Blanc in this style is that after a certain amount of years, you start getting a little bit of a tip where those fresh aromas start kind of fading a bit more. It might go into more lemon. You lose a bit of that guava, that kiwi, pineapple note. And then for our other wine that was more French driven, we did choose cork because this wine, it was more suitable for us at that time. And I probably would keep that parameter going with two different wines. That's why we're very selective on, when we design our wines in the vineyard, our picking times, what yeast we choose, or, all that stuff plays a huge role. Do we de-leaf? Do we not de-leaf? All those things. Do we take leaves away? Do we keep leaves? On a year like, 2020, when we had a hot vintage, we tried to maybe maintain more leaves for acidity. On a year that's more like 23, everyone knows the 23 vintage was a difficult vintage. We would want more airflow. We want, obviously, to dry the fruiting zone out, so we're going to de-leaf a bit more. I mean, it's every winemaker's or vineyard manager's choice or style of how they want to make these wines. But I think it all starts in the vineyard, and it's up to us as a winemaker to decide on how we want to bring in the raw material and work with it as it comes into our cellars. But I think Sauvignon Blanc is so unique because Sauvignon Blanc could be made, there's great Sauvignons mentioned in Austria, in South Styria, Südsteiermark, or you go to, New Zealand or France, because it's really, so diverse of how Sauvignon Blancs can be made and where they're grown. But a lot of people ask, and they're always asking us at the winery if they're members or clients or new visitors or tourists. What does this style tend to? And I say this is Ontario, first of all, right? So this is Ontario Sauvignon Blanc in our style that we make. This is grown on that soil, and we explain where it's from. And we're trying to, if people have an idea, we obviously New Zealand they know, France they know, but we really want to define our own style, which is very important. And that's what we're really pushing our customers. We're educating our customers and our clients to know what they're drinking, that it's from the region and that it's from, we're proud that it's grown on Ontario soil and from Niagara, right? So.
Yeah, and I mean, that's exactly why we're on tonight, right? To explain to people why Niagara, on both sides of Niagara on the Lake or Niagara Escarpment, there's fantastic sites to grow Sauvignon Blanc, and more winemaker wants to work with Sauvignon Blanc. So, I mean, we're thrilled because first, it's one of Mira's favorite grape varietal, and it's just good. I think the market is ready right now. The millennial or the newer generation of wine drinker appreciate Sauvignon Blanc much more than the older generation, to my opinion. So here we are now. So the market is getting ready for this beautiful grape varietal.
Yeah, well, I say too, people, especially I live in Toronto and I live in Niagara, so the market is very interesting in Toronto. We're an hour away from where we grow our goods and we sell our stuff in Niagara or outside Niagara. So I like to always push the clientele by saying, they're also about Kim Crawford and Villa Maria and all these name brands. And this is not to bash these names. There's good wines out there and they're good names. But I think that really, it's worth to tell them, hey, have you ever tried an Ontario Sauvignon Blanc? And they'll say, oh, Ontario. No, this is the reason. Try this. And we have a lot of events. We're trying to get people adapted to Canadian wine, right? To really see how much potential there is. And when they taste it, this is Ontario, this is Canadian? Yeah, it is, right? This is from Niagara or the Bench or, Okanagan or wherever, right? And they can't believe it. So it's all about awareness, right? So that's really
absolutely. We are more than a Chardonnay, Riesling, and Pinot Noir. I mean, and it's coming on its own. I love the diversity of style. Also, we're not stuck in one style, especially look at your winery. You produce two Sauv Blanc, completely different style. So yeah, I'm glad. Thank you so much for joining us, Fabien. It's amazing to have the chance to shoot shit here live on there and talking about Sauvignon Blanc. It's always great to have great wine chat with us. Mira, welcome back. How's the guest down there?
Oh, it's a lot of fun down here. Having someone else I can chat wine with that, likes Sauvignon Blanc and is a little bit more like me and less like you. I mean, I don't know Tammy that well, but I'm assuming doesn't have like 30-something years of experience tasting wine. So, it's like more.
Well, you know what? I got my buddy Fabien with me, so we're gonna geek out together now. Hey, Marcel Morgenstern is in the house. Here you go. So Marcel says hi to you, Fabien.
Oh, thank you, Marcel. I saw him in the vineyard. I love talking to Marcel. He's a German, a real German guy like us. Very similar and fantastic.
Oh, that's funny. We have the real the whole German community here tonight. We had the Openlander earlier tonight, Jess and Ali. Yeah. Now Marcel on one side and Fred. Okay, and now
the Kaisers. I think the Kaisers were also originally from Germany, right?
No, Austria.
Yeah,
Andrea's family from Austria. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I want to tell our listener here that we have something set up with you, Fabien. In February, we're going to be featuring your wines in Carl's Wine Club for one of our weekly feature. We are really excited about that to showcase these premium Niagara beauties. So it's going to be really fun to be working with you for a full week in the New Year's, Fabien. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity again. We look forward to the new year working with you guys, and thanks for having me here. And I wish everyone a great evening. And I hope just for those that are still harvesting, Brian, I think you. I don't know if you're still harvesting. Elaine's on here too. I'll say hi to her as well. But all the best, guys, and I'll hope to see you guys all soon. Okay, all the best.
All the best to you as well, Fabian, and to you and your team, and good luck for the rest of Harvest 2023. Chat soon, okay?
Thank you, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah,
There you go. There you go. Fabian Rice, vigneron at Ferox Wine in Niagara-on-the-Lake, one of a top premium producer in Niagara-on-the-Lake. This is the Silver Lion Collection Sauvignon Blanc, 65 cases made. 65. We're talking here Okanagan style of production. 65 cases. Mira, I just had a request here from the room in front of me. One of our children was requesting your attention. So if you can come here. Sorry to our listener.
Yep, I'll be right there.
Thank you very much.
That's fabulous. Yes. And you know what? I'll bring some wine glasses. Tell us what we're drinking next, Carl Boucher.
So now that we're done with our guests, she's coming. So we're done with our guests now. So we have, let me recap here. We had on Ali and Jess Openlander to start. We after that move on, and the labeling. We talk about the labeling wine. Labeling wine score a beautiful 90 plus. It's a nice citrusy, beautiful price point, $22. I love these value wines, bright and fruit driven. Great job with their first vintage as winemaker and as a family. After that, we had Divergence. Jeff Moot came on with us with the used vineyard Sauvignon Blanc 2021 vintage, 91 points. I like that oak profile. There's a beautiful, rich mid palate. It was fantastic. I tasted that wine way earlier this year. I think it was in February or March. 91 points. Stand beside this score. Ontario it. We went after that. We chatted with Andrea Kaiser and her 2022 Dria's Wine Sauv Blanc. 91 plus points. I have a sweet spot for that wine. I mean, the beautiful roundness on that stainless steel Sauvignon Blanc was something beautiful. Minerality, light little spice at the end that I rarely find in a Sauv Blanc. Beautiful richness and roundness. So it was a great job. And we just spent a cool 20-25 minutes with Fabian Rice at Ferox. We tasted this very, very small production of the Sauvignon Blanc, $50 a bottle, top premium, zippy, zingy, energetic. And we are going with a 91 points for Fabian Sauvignon Blanc 2022. I mean, it's pricey. Yes, I get it. But it's worth it. I mean, these wines are premium, but delivers a lot of complexity, and what I get in the Ferox is also that I don't get with any other wine so far. It's the precision. It's pinpoint. Like the edges are so defined, and I try to don't go around and I try to throw some international comp here and there because it's too easy. Sometimes I kind of feel it's lazy, but this is European style. This is much more, I talk about mountain style of Sauvignon Blanc, Northern Italy, Austria, and this is Fabian style. This is a representation of his style. I like it. Kudos to Ferox. So here we are. So now we have tasted only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 wines in 2 hours almost. I have another 10 wines that I would like to go through. We're going to do a little bit more of a rapid fire here because I promised, and I really want to go through these 16 wines. There, Brian, again, thanks for joining us. Great to have you on. Marcel Morgenstern, great to have you. Alan Peters, all people from the industry in Ontario. Daryl is on, Vicky's on, so all together. Now, let me get back to the very beginning here with Casaba. Bronze medal here at the Wine Line this year, the Susan's Vineyard, Niagara Peninsula. a value wine, value-driven wine here at $20 all in. I mean, when I look at full-on stainless steel, I mean, there's no doubt about that. Like 10% alcohol, really crisp, very like tropical fruit. I get that gooseberry on the nose. That can be that little guava here that you're talking about.
A little bit.
Mm. Yeah, tropical. Let's go rapid fire here. 88 plus here. I mean, it's $20. Delivers for $20. 10% alcohol. You're right, Brian. Absolutely on the 10.5 here on the nut, on the nose. It's clean. It's fresh. It's crisp. Not disappointed. And yeah, I mean, nothing extremely special, but worth the $20. So let's go. 180 Estate Winery, VQE Creek Shore Appellation here. 180 Creek Shore Appellation. When I put the request for tender here, like I asked for anyone interested. 180 was one of the first to reply. I've never worked with their wine before, so it's my first time tasting 180 wines. We have another one, a reserve wine, right after, a little later on. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to taste the two side by side. So we have the entry level at $22, and we have the reserve. The reserve wine is at $36. So we have a $15 difference. So what a consumer can expect from the same winery with the $15 difference between the two wines. I mean, to me, before I taste the wine, I would assume that one is stainless steel, the other one was aged or fermented in barrel. So one will have much more complexity. The other one is more the easy drinking, reception, party style of wine when you have a bunch of people over. The other one will be a little bit more food driven, dinner table, more serious, and much more complexity. So let's give it a try. We have oh wow, tropical on the nose. I really like that nose here for the 2021 180. Yeah, easy drinking. Easy. I mean, the aromas are really fluffy, really easy. Oh yeah, there's a big difference. These two noses are completely different. Completely different. So, so that's 180 VQA Creek Shore. It's very impressive for $22. Wow. I mean, it delivers absolutely like punches above his weight class for sure. This is a 90 plus point. This is not the most complex wine, but it's very pleasant, tropical. It's not too zippy. The acidity is not like taking you somewhere you don't want to go, especially with an entry-level wine. I don't want, especially with Sauvignon Blanc, at the entry level, something a little bit too much on acid where I lose the fruit. Where I want some precision is with something more premium, with more complexity, where the directional component will take me a long way, not zippy short, right? So here it's pleasant, it's easygoing, it's tropical, but it's fun. I like that a lot. So now the other one, the reserve, and something fun as well to notice. Look at that. This is the two closure. One of their wine is screw cap. So the entry level, the $22 one, screw cap. The $36 wine, the packaging look much more luxurious, let's put it that way. Cork closure as well. So there's a cork as a closure instead of the, so just lead me to think about ageability. Do we prefer age our white or Sauvignon Blanc in screw cap closure or in cork closure? There's two different philosophy about that. And I experience different things. So here we go. Let's give it a try here. Okay, on the nose. Zippy, lemony. There's a stony, like a little bit of a flint on the nose. Grassiness as well. This is round. This is soft. Well, in terms of complexity, it's a different story. There's spice, a little bit of lemongrass, there's some cardamom, little like white pepper around the edges. In the middle of that roundness, there's a like nice backbone, but there's a wang. So now I totally, if you taste these both side by side, Mira, if you're listening to me, if you want to do the side by side of these two, realize, now you realize that $14 difference in the price completely show in the glass. Absolutely show. It's super fun to see this. It's really obvious. I love that. I love the entry level. Well done. Like, no doubt about that. It's like it's a 90 point because it to me, over deliver. And then you get here, you're like, whoa. And remember, Mira, when we were, I was blind tasting you in 30, 50, 80 wine, the $80 wines. And I told you, focus on the texture. The texture will give you a very good indicative of the premium versus the top premium versus the entry level.
It's true. And I think that's one of the things that oak influences a lot, is the texture, right?
Yeah, exactly. The depth, the texture.
It's not always that there's oak, is it? It's sometimes just the treatment of the wine.
That 180 reserve, I mean, I'm giving it an extra point. Even if it's $14 more, it delivers a ton. It's really, really well done. So 91 points here for 2021 180 wines, the reserve.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't have the amazing nose. I just wish I had the aromas goes with the palate. The palate is stunning. The aromas are just not getting me in the perfect zone to enjoy that wine. I was about to just use a very wrong analogy, so I'm not going to say anything.
Are you getting dirty, Carl? Oh my.
No. Yeah, no. I
don't know what you're talking about.
No, yeah. No.
Which 180 did I get, Carl? Because you have both of them open. I think I got the first one in your lineup, which is the less expensive one, right? It's the
you haven't had this one.
You haven't had the reserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very well done. Like the reserve a lot. I mean, I like both. I mean, both deliver exactly what they're supposed to. I mean, it's exactly where it should be. It's really well done. I like it. Okay, so let's move on here to Bella Terra 2022 vintage.
Oh, yeah, Bella Terra.
There you go. Here we have a $23 wine here with the 22 vintage. Most of the fruits are coming from the Chorus vineyard. But this is Niagara Peninsula appellation, so I expect to have some fruit coming with maybe 1 or 2 different vineyards. Nice nose, nice nose. I love it. Did we tasted that wine? No, it's 2022. So came up just this year. So we tasted the Sauvignon Blanc 2021 by the pool in Niagara Falls last year when we went to Bellaterra for the members party. You remember?
Yes, the 20. Yes,
The 21. So that 22 here.
And you gave the 21 92 points. I have the
Yeah, the 21 was spectacular. I love the nose of that wine. I love the nose. Did I rated that wine recently, Mira?
The 21?
The 22.
Oh, the 22. I don't have the 22 notes.
That nose ring a bell to me. Like my brain is just like thinking, I know that.
Okay. So I think you might have gotten a pre-release or something. So let me check here.
I love that nose. Really, really love that nose. There's a mix of tropical, a hint of citrus. There's a bit of everything, but all in the symphony. I think it's really, really, really well put together. There's another beauty from Bellaterra here. Bright acid, nice framework around that. The grassiness is there. This is very Sauvignon Blanc. If it makes sense.
Yes. So you did taste it just last month. You gave it 90 plus points.
90 plus. That's exactly what I was about to go. Right in between the 180 reserve and the regular, a little bit above the regular. It's more serious, but it's not the reserve complexity. But for the $23, absolutely bang on. I mean,
did
there you go, Vicky.
Bottle? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely delivers. Yeah, 90 plus. I am. Yeah. Oh, I was in good shape that day when I saw. Yeah, I love the nose though. Very, very Sauv Blanc. So one thing with that wine, I think this wine should be the postcard of Niagara-on-the-Lake Sauvignon Blanc. Because if you buy a Sauvignon Blanc, you expect a Sauvignon Blanc, correct? This has everything Sauvignon Blanc. This has all the characteristics in that wine. There's the grassiness, not over grassy. There's the acidity, not over acidic. There's the lemon, but there's also the gooseberry. There's everything Sauv Blanc. All the typicity of the Sauv Blanc, it's all in that bottle. There is no doubt about what it is. It's good, it's well made, and it's affordable. And it's not too cheap. No, sometimes you have like, there's a certain bracket of price point. To me, that should be, this Sauv Blanc should be the postcard of Sauvignon Blanc and OTL. I love that. For that price point, bang on. You know, when you put the dot on where it should be, it is what it is. Love it.
Brian's right. Marcel's going to start making postcards now.
Oh yeah, he's making T-shirts now. So I mean, like, yeah, maybe folks, it should be a the Sauvignon Blanc T-shirt. In general, I prefer the lower dollar.
Meanwhile, Daryl is going to start blending his own Sauv Blancs.
There you go.
And Vicky's game for more T-shirts. So.
Okay. So now, let's go to Norfolk County. So
yeah, so this is a very different region, isn't it?
Absolutely. So Burning Kiln from Norfolk County here. So different region. I'm dying to try that. I want to see what I should expect for that small little region here. Okay. A little floral. Tropical nose. Tropical. Yeah, orange blossom, nectarine. I kind of get some ripeness, lots of ripeness in there.
Gonna be coming up to chase that one pretty soon here.
A little smoky. Toasty, smoky, nice length and nice texture. I like the roundness. So yes, there's probably some barrel aging in that. Maybe a little tad of RS. I mean, it's not out of place, and it's not like 10, 15 grams. I would say maybe like 5 or 6. A little higher than what I've tasted so far, but I mean, $27. So now I'm starting at that price point. I'm starting to expect a little bit more. Not super long, but yeah, it meets its price point. It meets its price point. There's a little bit. Right?
Did you get a score for the Bellaterre? It was 90 plus, right?
90 plus, absolutely.
I'll be right back.
So yeah, at Burning Kiln, I would say 89 points. It's well made, nothing wrong about that. Yep, tropical, fresh. So here you go. Here. So now let's move on to Creekside, the backyard block. So here, this is the still version of the bubbly that I had earlier today. He just went on the different room. So here with Creekside, a $28 Sauvignon Blanc, single vineyard, I believe, probably backyard block. So it tells me that it's probably the home vineyard specific block. This is from the Creek Shore. Yeah, VQA Creek Shore appellation. So yeah, really Sauv Blanc on the nose. I mean, like, we're talking typicity of fruit here. I like that style of nose, though. 2021 vintage. Feels a lot of stainless steel in there. I don't get any oak. Here is my guava passion fruit. That's where it is. Hint of grassiness at the end. This is solid. This is well made. Tropical on the nose, tropical on the palate. Very, very, I would say, well, I mean, it's connected. It's connected. The nose and the palate are connected. There's no surprise. When I smell, I expect something on the palate. That's exactly what's coming out on the palate. Well done. $28 all in. This is, to me, I would go with a 89 plus. 9 plus. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Hi.
So, all right, let's move on to one of the wine that I was one of the most excited about from the very beginning. There's a couple, and the next two wines are part of that. We're going to go with Rose Hall Run from Prince Edward County. A straight-grown Sauvignon Blanc. So, you know, this is Peck Fruit, Prince Edward County, from one of the Rockstar winery in Prince Edward County. Also, our friend Rob Nedelko, who also grows some fruits for them in Niagara. And, oh, some flint on that. Woohoo! Flinty, mineral on the nose, grassy. Very unique nose. So Brian is saying that Creekside has set the standard for Sauvignon Blanc in Ontario for many years. And when I look at their portfolio, Brian, I totally agree with you that they have a very big Sauv Blanc portfolio. They sent me 4 different Sauvignon Blancs, so I have also to dig a little deeper with their other SKUs that they sent me. I just didn't want to put 4 wines from the same brand in a 16 wine tasting. But I'm excited to taste the other. But yeah, when looking at all of the Niagara portfolio, Ontario portfolio about Sauvignon Blanc, yes, definitely the Creekside come up first, and they're definitely one of the leader in terms of production. Yeah, this is flinty here. Flinty, and behind that, there's blood orange to me. A little bit of chamomile as well. That usually doesn't come up on Sauvignon Blanc. There's grassiness, but there's some floral note. That gets me French here. Oof, yeah, that is like Sancerre. Definitely Sancerre style. Even if I don't want to get these other references, that's yeah. So Prince Edward County fruit. So that's what makes difference, right? We just had Burning Kiln from Norfolk County. And unfortunately, Mouchadre from Erie North Shore didn't make it on time. So flinty on the nose, flinty on the palate. There is a tremendous complexity here. Very complex. You know what? The gig in me is really excited right now. The geek in me is really, really excited right now. This is really complex. Stony, flinty, grapefruit skin, grapefruit peel, grapefruit pit, but also There's also a little bit of tropical around that lemon grapefruit, more of the pink grapefruit. It's not too acidic. The acidity is at the right level. I think it's supported by just enough RS to make it bright, but round. And the minerality, holy cow, wow, this is the 92 points here. Yeah, 92. I can't wait to hear from Mira here down there to see what she's thinking of that, because I know that looking at the bottle, she probably got a splash when she came up. Yeah, 92, and I might even go 92 plus. Oh, yeah. Wow. Ryan, it's the 2022 vintage, brand new vintage, fresh release. I mean, don't expect the explosion of fruits. No. Things are layered, but I'm stunned by the minerality. It is just like, yeah, to me, like I said, it's the geek inside of me. It's not the party wine, that super approachable, fruity wine. No, it's not there. This is that serious couple geek around a table can talk for hours about a wine. I can see that. I can see that. This can create a huge conversation. Really, 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 really fun. Mira, can you hear me? Mira, are you there?
Well, I guess so. I'm just in the middle of sorting out some children's issues. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. You have to deal with that.
No worries. But yeah, that's a very special wine. Oh, and now we're starting to get into the really big dogs, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. So now we're talking about the names
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Dollars. Oh. Oops, there you go. Are you back?
You're back.
I'm back. You're back too.
There you go.
So yeah. So the Rose Hall Run, $28 now. Here with Leaning Post, $29. So we are here with the Niagara Lakeshore appellation. So with Leaning Post, I mean, more and more like knowing the quality of what Ilya Senchuk do. Everything that he makes is always top-notch quality. I really like he works with multiple different kind of grapes, but really specialize on Sauvignon, on Cabernet, on Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, multiple single vineyard from all over the bench and Lincoln Lakeshore. Their home vineyard, the Senchuk vineyard, close to the lake. And he makes some fantastic wines. Even his Cabernet Franc that we've tasted this weekend was great. Always above average, like always. I'm expecting the same here with the Sauvignon Blanc. Great nose. There's definitely some oak in there. No doubt about that, but it's not oaky nose. I just know there's a vanilla, something, the little richness on the nose, like that creamy, that lemon cream. Now we're talking about more serious wine, right? Now, lemon cream, that little layer of the grassiness is there as well. A classic Sauvignon Blanc, but rounded out with some barrel aging. I don't think that there's barrel fermented. That doesn't get that texture, but I get the barrel aging probably. Nice finish. Absolutely worth the $29. Absolutely, no doubt about that. I rarely tasted a wine from Elia and Nadia that's under 91 points. I mean, just right there, 91. Yeah, that's probably exactly where I'm leaning. Andrew's Vineyard, I believe. No, is it? I think so. From one of the. Yeah, 91. Yep, 91 points. It's well made. Doesn't have the same length and crazy complexity that Rose Hall Run has, but for $29, absolutely, absolutely. So absolutely love it. Lincoln Lakeshore. So again, closer from the lake, right? So now we're looking at what we have so far. This either a cooler, it's either, I think that it's funny that Rose Hall Run from Prince Edward County, from all of the area, is the leader in the clubhouse from where he's located, from where they are located in Prince Edward County. I would not have expected that in term of location, in term of quality of Sauvignon Blanc. So from what we learned tonight, closer from the big body of water are some of the vineyard that delivers the most in terms of the Ontario Sauvignon Blanc. Lincoln Lakeshore, Creek Shore, Niagara on the Lake definitely is a standout so far. But yeah, so here we have Leaning Post, solid. Definitely that little crustiness, that little classic gooseberry also now. I get it on the nose, but very, like, not too much. Okay, now we're moving on to Ice Cellar. Wismer Homestead Vineyard. Here, 250 cases produced. I believe it's probably, is it? Which VQA is that? 20 Mile Bench. So Niagara Escarpment here. We didn't have a lot of a bench fruit here for Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, so here you go. So with Adnan Aysel, winemaker, owner, vigneron at Ice Cellar, I expect something big, something bold, something with oak. I do expect it because I know his style. I know what he delivers year in and year out. I love what he does, especially his big reds. I'm a big fan this year, by the way. The 2020 Reserve Syrah that he made, it's one of my top 2 wines this year that I've tasted from Canada. Top 3 for sure. Now is Sauv Blanc. Definitely some barrel, like there's no doubt about that. I would say there's some new oak in there too. I like the nose a lot. Super oaky. Bold, full body. It's a big fumé with bright acid. You know what? That might be my De Silva version of fumé from Ontario. Bold, rich, mid palate of vanilla, oak, toast, lemon cream. This is rich, and I like that. There's a style for that. I'm a geek who loves this, but I don't mind that at all. Absolutely not. We're talking here $31. I like that richness for $31. If you're looking for a big fumet, I mean, this is worth trying. And surprising. So now we have some bench fruit, but so I can get the strategy here to look, just round that up with some oak. And like I said, he doesn't apologize for that. This is the style, and that's what he does. And I respect that, and I love his authenticity, even here with the Sauv Blanc. It's by far the richest and the boldest Sauv Blanc of the lineup, by far. And you know what? Like it always does in this style of lineup, often the biggest, the boldest get a lot of attention, right? Let's get back on our Cap Franc marathon this weekend. I mean, we're tasting a bunch of different style and different price point. And when I got to Big Head, the 2018, big and bold, and like, boom, whoa, what just happened here? So, you know, like that big and rich, I call it the Robert Parker factor. Always gets the attention of the taster, but that definitely gets my attention. And there's nothing wrong with that wine, stylistically and in terms of structural. Absolutely fantastic. Not sure how long does it gonna last, and it's gonna be bright and like, I mean, it's 2019. This wine is shining right now. I love that.
Okay, well, that's exciting enough for me to want to taste it too. So,
Yeah, but you already probably did.
the ice cellars?
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
At least I have it downstairs. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
I tasted it yet. What are the other ones you just
Oh,
recently
here,
tasted?
like while you're here.
Oh, it's a beauty.
Yeah. I mean, I'm debating here. I'm on the score. I'm at the time to put the score on, and I'm giving it a 92 points. I really, really like it. In terms of, I can be a purist, and I can always be like, oh, I like the purity of the fruit. Don't overdone don't overdo my wine with oak. It's not fair for you know what? Screw that. This is fucking good. I mean, it's good and it's luxurious on the palate. So let's go. I don't mind. 92 points. That's my opinion right now. And I'm gonna. Oh, it's the last one.
Yeah, Big Head, I think so.
Last one on the lineup. Fuck, I feel like okay, coming out of a 54 wines
Yeah,
marathon. I'm
it's
just
a
like, what?
baby.
Am I already done? Really? I think we're gonna do it right after I'm doing it again. Like, I mean, I just feel like if I'm starting.
Well, yeah, and I ordered sushi, so we'll have to see which of these pairs well with sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, what we have here for the finale, the raw Big Head raw Sauvignon Blanc 2020 vintage from Niagara on the Lake. I'm always excited when I open a bottle of Big Head. I mean, there's that wow factor. Jacob Lipinski has that geek in him that he produced sometimes some weird wines who gets me really, very, very much. So the raw series, it's 100% concrete. So with the Sauv Blanc, what I believe, it's fermented in stainless and aged in concrete. That's my understanding. Or the opposite, fermented in stainless, aged in concrete. This wine doesn't see oak. That definitely doesn't smell like oak. Mm.
Holy smokes. Okay.
Smoky, holy smoke. There's some, it's kind of a little bit of smoky. It's different. It's very different. There's a rich texture. It's full body. I mean, when I look at it, it's only 12.4% alcohol. It feels a little bit bigger than that, but this is the raw series. It's so different. Every time that I taste something from the raw series, it always blows my mind how this turns the typicity of a fruit completely different.
Yeah.
But there's something though, like it's not weird. It's geeky.
No,
it's geeky. It's not weird.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just reading on their website. They have a great website in the sense that for wine geeks like us, they give us lots of details. So it says serve chilled. It says it's unfiltered. The fruit was handpicked, placed into stainless steel tanks under carbon dioxide for 7 days. The free run juice was transferred to concrete after that. And then a bunch of gobbledygook winemakers speak about malolactic fermentation and things.
Yeah, that's that creaminess, right? You got that roundness, that carbonic at the beginning, the mallow. So he treats that one almost like a Chardonnay. That's grilled pineapple to me. I got grilled pineapple on the barbecue. That's my main. The texture is fantastic. I mean, this is not classic Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, get that out of your mind. Throw that, everything you know about Sauv Blanc, throw that in the garbage behind you, and like reopen your mind to something good and different. And this is it. I mean, it's $40. It's not cheap, but it's not overly expensive. It gives me much more than not much more. It gives me different thing that I was expecting. I mean, it just triggers my curiosity. It's intricate. It's just so different. It's 91 plus to me. Yeah, 91 plus. Wow. I like it. I like it. I mean, yeah, very different. There's a length, there's texture, there's creaminess. So, yeah.
The length on this is quite outstanding, I think. And I think that's what Big Head is known for. They're very innovative. They're very like geeky, you know, like they really get into the nuances and the subtleties and making it a little different. And that's what this wine is for sure. It's really good.
Yeah, and here we are. I mean, we just tasted 16 Sauvignon Blanc from different sub-region, from different appellation, I mean, that gives you the potential right here, okay? This is the potential of Ontario Sauvignon Blanc in the nutshell. That's my point to you is the potential is fantastic.
Yes.
There's not a ton of Sauvignon Blanc. There's very strategic place where you grow great quality of Sauvignon Blanc. There are some growers who are focusing on that. But I think it's worth working on the marketing of that grape because there's very little in Ontario, very little. And I think that the demand can be there. To me, when I look at the marketing side of it, the newer generation of wine drinker should be appealed by, it should be intrigued, should be attracted to Sauvignon Blanc. I think it's fun. I think it's bright. I think it sounds completely different than Chardonnay. Like this for the grandparents and the younger kids should love Sauvignon Blanc. There's so much you can do with that. Yeah, the potential is tremendous. I like the different version of it. There's classic, there's easy drinking, there's straightforward, but there's also some with complexity and lots and lots and lots to offer. So, yeah, I mean, there's some. So my standout are totally my top number one. Thanks for the complexity and the geekiness of it, but it's Rose Hall Run, the 2022 vintage, from all of the places for Sauvignon Blanc where they bury their freaking vines like before winter because it's so cold, from Prince Edward County, where I would never expect to have a quality of Sauv Blanc like that. But yes, Rose Hall Run, congrats, you got the top. Also, I really enjoyed Dria's wine at 91 plus, Andrea Kaiser, fantastic. Big Head, the Raw Series, Ferox for that zippiness, that really serious wine. Divergence, I mean, for now it's at $23 on their website or $24 on discount. I mean, geez, holy moly.
Great value, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Liebling with Ali and Jess Openlander. I mean, they're just starting 90 plus. I like the purity. This is textbook pure Sauv Blanc in the glass. So kudos to that. And I'm really surprised with the ice cellar. Like very, very, very surprised with the ice cellar. Bold and oaky, but it hit a spot to me. I don't know why. It's just maybe I got blindsided by it. I didn't expect that, but wow. So yeah. Like usual, Leaning Post delivers. Bellaterra 90 plus. Well done, you guys. Everyone, there's no dud in here. Absolutely no dud. I really enjoyed the whole process of it. Thank you to all of the wineries who supplied a sample. And I had an amazing time tasting these. Lots of surprises, and we're gonna follow up with a full blog post, and hopefully people will enjoy what we have to do on our report. But yeah, no, thank you very much. Special thanks to Ali and Jesse Openlander. Special thanks to Andrea Kaiser, Jeff Moot, and Fabian Rice, our 4 winemaker who came on live and talked the potential of their land and the potential of their grapes. So yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. Such a fun evening. Thank you guys for being these Canadian wine lovers that are just like us, that love enjoying all these fabulous wines in our backyard and discovering them with us. So hope you guys have a wonderful Wine Wednesday, and we're off to get some sushi and taste these wines probably again, at least one more time. I mean, there's only 15 of them. So
I mean, why not, right?
I know, right? That's
okay. Oh, thank you very much, Mira Boucher, for your support. Thanks for helping me. Thanks for partying with me. Thanks for partying with us. Everyone across the country, from Vancouver Island to the Atlantic provinces, du Québec, du nord de l'Ontario, tout le monde en français. Un gros merci d'avoir passé la soirée avec nous autres, parler de Sauvignon Blanc de l'Ontario. C'est une sorte de raisin qui est sous-évalué. Il y a un grand potentiel pour ces vins-là. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, have a good rest of your evening, and
cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.